in El Salvador. He stated how the leader of El Salvador, the authoritarian Nayib Bukele, tried to arrange the meeting in a way to make it look like they were drinking margaritas together. El Salvador, which is where Abrego Garcia was being held. We also found out that Abrego Garcia was now moved to another detention center in El Salvador, still has bad conditions, to create this fake set, to create an illusion in the world that Abrego Garcia was not being tortured in CICOT, the extermination camp in El.
What do fake margaritas, staged photo ops, and false gang accusations have in common? They're all part of the desperate attempt to cover up one of the most shameless deportation scandals of the Trump era. Right now, a man named Kilmer Abrego Garcia sits in an El Salvadoran detention center, unable to contact his wife or family. Meanwhile, Trump calls Senator Van Hollen a fake for visiting him and exposing the truth. The question isn't whether Trump is lying anymore.
Right. I mean, this is a guy who's been in CICOT. This is a guy who's been detained. They want to create this appearance that life was just lovely for Kilmer, which of course is a big fat lie. Yeah, the setting he was in. I should also just say, you know, I'd mentioned the fake margarita scandal. They actually wanted to have the meeting by the side of the pool, right, in the hotel. Just
Democratic Senator Van Hollen talked about what Abrego Garcia told him, how Abrego Garcia was sad that he was in a prison because he said he did not commit any crime.
It's why he's working so hard with a foreign dictator to keep this particular deportation under wraps. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
when I asked him what was the one thing he would ask for in addition to his freedom, he said he wanted to talk to his wife, Jennifer. He said he felt very sad about being in a prison because he had not committed any crimes.
When a dictator decides to put on a show, they don't skimp on the props. Just ask Senator Van Hollen, who walked into what might be the most awkward pool party in diplomatic history. What he expected was a serious meeting with wrongfully detained American Abrego Garcia. What he got instead was El Salvador's President Bukele's version of MTV Cribs, complete with fake margaritas and poolside seating. Picture this: government officials carefully placing glasses rimmed with salt or sugar by the pool, creating this whole vacation vibe. It's like they were setting up for a tourism commercial, rather than a meeting about a man being held in one of the most notorious prisons in the country. The glasses were positioned just so, ready for propaganda photos that would tell the world nothing to see here, just some guys having a great time. But Senator Van Hollen wasn't born yesterday. He immediately recognized the charade and later spilled the tea, or should I say, the untouched margarita. Let me just be very clear, neither of us touched the drinks that were in front of us. He stated, the senator even pointed out that if you look at the photos, you can see the salt or sugar rims are completely intact, proof positive that this casual cocktail hour was nothing but theater. Meanwhile, the reality couldn't have been more different. While Bukele was staging poolside photo ops, Abrego Garcia was actually being held in the terrifying CICOT prison, officially called the Terrorism Confinement Center. This mega prison housed Abrego with about 25 other prisoners, and according to Van Hollen, Abrego was traumatized by being at CICOT and fearful of many of the prisoners in other cell blocks who called out to him and taunted him in various ways. The contrast is stunning. Fake margaritas by the pool versus the harsh reality of a man denied contact with his family and legal counsel in violation of international law. Even after being moved from CICOT to another detention center in Santa Ana, Abrego remained cut off from the outside world. No family calls, no lawyers, just isolation. Bukele, apparently thinking his little production deserved an Emmy, took to social media to brag about his handiwork. He posted the staged photos with the caption, "Kilmer Abrego Garcia, miraculously risen from the death camps and torture, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador." Nothing says, "I'm a legitimate leader," quite like mocking a detained American and the US senator trying to help him. Behind Bukele's tacky political theater lies an even uglier truth. Trump's desperate attempt to transform an innocent man into a villain. When caught shipping an American citizen to foreign detention, the administration didn't apologize or fix their mistake. They doubled down with lies big enough to make even Baron Munchausen blush. Standing in the Oval Office, America's commander-in-chief looked straight into cameras and declared, he's an illegal alien, MS-13 gang member, and foreign terrorist. Trump claimed this information came from very legitimate sources at the State Department. There was just one tiny problem. It was complete garbage. The federal judge handling Abrego Garcia's case stated plainly that the government presented no evidence connecting him to MS-13 or any criminal organization. Zero. Zilch. Nada. The judge even emphasized that vague allegations of gang association alone do not supersede the express protections offered under the INA. In non-lawyer speak, you can't just call someone a gangster without proof and then toss out their rights. So why the elaborate character assassination? Because admitting the truth would expose something far worse. Abrego Garcia's deportation was the result of a simple administrative error by the Department of Justice. Rather than fix this mistake, Trump's team fired the DOJ lawyer who honestly acknowledged the error in court. Apparently, telling the truth is a fireable offense in Trump's America. But the corruption runs deeper than just covering up paperwork mistakes. Senator Van Hollen dropped a bombshell revelation after meeting with El Salvador's Vice President Felix Ulloa, who admitted something shocking. Abrego Garcia was rotting in a Salvadoran prison because the Trump administration was literally paying them to keep him there. Your tax dollars at work, folks. Funding foreign detention centers to hide Americans who were wrongfully deported. This isn't just about one man anymore. It's about whether the US government can abduct American citizens from their homes, ship them to foreign dictatorships, pay to keep them locked up, and then lie about who they are to justify it all. Today it's Abrego Garcia labeled as MS-13 without evidence. Tomorrow it could be anyone branded a terrorist or criminal without proof. When challenged on these facts, Trump's playbook is painfully predictable. Attack the messenger. Rather than address the evidence, he dismissed Senator Van Hollen as a fake and mocked the serious investigation into constitutional violations. Classic Trump, when caught with your hand in the cookie jar, call the person who caught you a liar and throw a tantrum. This fight for Abrego Garcia is growing beyond Van Hollen's trip, with multiple Democrats now planning visits to El Salvador. Representatives Garcia and Frost have requested an official congressional delegation to investigate and pressure the White House. This isn't just about one wrongful deportation anymore. Democrats are framing it as a full-blown constitutional crisis. As Representative Garcia put it, this is not just about a deportation policy. This is about defying the Constitution and the Supreme Court. What's happening here sets a terrifying precedent. If the government can ignore due process for Abrego Garcia today, whose rights get trampled tomorrow? Trump's desperate attacks can't hide what this really is, a test of whether America still believes in the rule of law.